Let's have some fun with Miro and try to diagram what we said, the reverse proxy, the forward proxy, and also the desired configuration that we have for advanced configuration. We start with a very basic configuration and we tailor that to our need, which is a combination of a forward proxy and a reverse proxy to have and implement. So a basic one, we have a user and the user wants to connect to the internet. This is the very basic setup. Like right now, without any proxy, anything, I have been connecting to the internet. This is the very basic one. But since a user wants to hide its IP address from the internet to be protected, he is picking up, for example, this inbox. So instead of connecting to the internet, goes to the proxy and proxy goes to the internet. This is the way that the commercial VPNs and proxies is employed, is being used. But we need our own, so we need a Linux server as well. We are going to connect to the Linux server and the proxy is going to forward it to the internet. So this is a very basic, simple forward proxy setup. In this scenario, a user connects to the sandbox. Sandbox is running as an application on the host, and the host is going to, which is the sandbox, is going to forward it to the internet. This is the very basic and simple configuration. Let's make it straightforward to this part. But this is not what we want. This is a forward proxy. Let's keep it here actually as a forward proxy. A reverse proxy, again, is the user and the user wants to connect to the internet. But connecting to the internet doesn't make sense because we want to connect to an application or something. So we have an application and it doesn't make sense because we have to run application on a server. So we need a Linux server as well. The application is on a Linux server, and for because we want to protect the application, for example, it has a private IP address, we use a reverse proxy. And this is the configuration. The users, they see the HA proxy. HA proxy is running on a Linux server and it sees the application endpoint and it's been connected to the internet, so we can see the application, or like the Miro, which is a SPA single page application, and I can view it and I can use it. This is the configuration that we have. For our best use cases, as we said, we can we can use the reverse proxy and a forward proxy as well. Let me a little bit move up. What we want to implement actually, because to prevent the proxies that we have from detection and probes and scanners, we have our users. We use, for example, HA proxy. Behind HA proxy, we put sandbox, which is an application that we want to access, and then the sandbox is going to be connected. A Linux server actually we need, and then the internet. This is the configuration that we want. And there are good reasons that this is a good configuration. For example, while Sandbox can offload TLS, we already tested in Sandbox proxy overview with like the using HTTPS or SSH over HTTPS, Sandbox can offload that. But with scanning like Nmap or other tools, we can detect this is not a usual offloaders like the Nginx or JProxy Envoy or Traffic. If we put the HA proxy before the sandbox for offloading TLS, then scanners can see that port 443 is being used by HA proxy, and HA proxy forwards the offloaded TLS to the sandbox. So the outsiders, the scanners, the probes, they can see the sandbox, they see HA proxy. While we also remove the pressure on the sandbox and we give it to a much more tailored application for offloading TLS, which is HA proxy, and the sandbox is going to have our request and forwards it to the internet. So still, the whole configuration for our use case is a forward proxy, but we use a reverse proxy to hide this endpoint application from detection and being scanned by others scanners. So this is the configuration we should use actually in production servers, or for the more safer and much more not detectable, invisible configuration. Well, this first one is possible. The second one, we are not focusing on the reverse proxy configuration, but we use reverse proxy to hide the application that we have in order to have this way of dealing with the proxy. So in this series of videos that we go, our focus, or my focus, is not talking about the proxy. It just said, I say, for example, I use the proxy or configured as much as possible, not focusing on proxy unless the necessary part showing, for example, this is way of offloading TLS. Here's the configuration that we have, and we are going to use and employ this, even though the sandbox proxy itself can be used as a reverse proxy. I will demo that it is possible, but we don't use sandbox. These proxies can be used, these proxies can be used like a reverse proxy, but we don't use them. I show a demo that sandbox can be used as a reverse proxy, but we use a more tailored one like a proxy for our purpose. Thank you. Anywhere you saw the video, comment if you had any question or ideas, or join our Telegram channel, which is TonTap, specifically talking about Linux, networking, and security.